Something sad happened to me this morning. I finished my buddy read with Jacqueline, and so I need to start another buddy read with you. Can you take the place of Jacqueline from 6 minutes for me? Sure you can. It's going to be a tough one. I'm going to read The Shepherd's Hut by Tim Winton. I have just recently rediscovered Tim Winton from reading Breath, which I loved, and my friend who gave me Breath said that I would love this too. So I want to snuggle into this for the weekend. It's now Saturday, mid-morning. So I'm very aware that this got booted out in the first round of the BookTube prize, and I did watch Amy Poole's vlog about her judging her round, and The Shepherd's Hut was in it, and she didn't like this book. I refrained from watching her wrap up and her review video because I didn't want her thoughts in my head, but yeah, she really didn't like this book. So I hope I do. I really want to love it, and I really need a good book at the moment. I've been struggling in the book department, that's for sure. So I don't know anything about this. Okay. Did I mention how I was trying to find good camera angles? This isn't one of them. So Jaxie, it's from Jaxie's point of view. I don't know how old he is, but his mum's dead and he is abused by his dad. And he wishes he's an orphan, but no one's ever told Jaxie Clacton, oh, isn't that a name? Jaxie Clacton, to be careful what he wishes for. In one terrible moment, his life is stripped to little more than what he can carry and how he can keep himself alive. So he needs to find the one person who understands him, and she is far away, and he needs to trek across Saltlands. Okay, so, again, I'm just going to start reading. Oh, side note, I've taken up bingo. I love bingo. All these fun things going on in my life. Right, I'm going to read now. Let's read the opening line. We all know how I love an opening line. Okay, when I hit the bitumen and get that smooth grey rumble going under me, everything's hell different. Okay, Jaxie's a millennial. Like I'm in a fresh new world, or slick and flat and easy. Even with the engine working up a howl and the wind flogging in the window, the sounds are real soft and pillowy. Civilized, I mean. Like you're still in the earth, but you don't hardly notice it anymore. And that's hectic. You'd think I never got in a car before. But when you hoofed it like a dirty goat all these weeks and months, when you've had the stony, slow, prickle up hard country right in your face that long, it's bloody sudden. Some crazy shit, I tell you. Brings on this angel feeling, like you're just one arrow of light. Oh. God, I love Tim Winton's writing. They use the words strongly, but it's not to the point. Does that make sense? You know how when singers go, oh, and you're like, oh, just calm down with that. Just sing something really strong and nice, which I can't do. But you know what I mean? Like, just use the words well, but don't overuse them. Don't be over descriptive. Don't be over wordy. I think there's a real talent in that. I find Tim Winton's writing just perfect. Whose other writing do I find? Just Sophie Laguna. I find her writing just perfect in that respect. Yeah. Well, that was a good opening paragraph for me anyway. Let's keep reading. I'll talk to you later on. And then the first chapter ends with this. For the first time in my life, I know what I want, and I have what it takes to get me there. If you never experienced that, I feel sorry for you. But it wasn't always like this. I've been through fire to get here. I've seen things and done things and had shit done to me you couldn't barely credit. So be happy for me, and for fuck's sake, don't get in my way. Loving it. Loving it. I mean, it was, you know, the dialect in this is very Aussie bogan. Totally Aussie bogan, but so let's get this read now, okay? Sorry, stop talking. I'll check in when something else cool happens. I always get really excited at the start of the book. Let's let's hope that excitement stays. Please, I need to read something interesting. So I got in my middle of the day reading and now I have to attend to stuff. So I'm up to page 59. He's been walking and reflecting and he's just found a little hut. So I don't know whether that's the shepherd's hut, but we will see. I have to go mow the lawn. Just get out and about, get the blood pumping. Come on, let's go. You like my farm get up? They'll make a farmer out of me yet. What do you reckon? Finished mowing, as you can tell. I love how red my face goes. Just in case there's any confusion about whether I'm actually an Australian or not, despite the accent and the swearing. Gotta stop that. This is what. I haven't even taken my boots off. I haven't even put the mirror away. I'm getting a beer. I'm gonna sit out on my deck and have a beer. Oh, so cold and bubbly. You need to see what I'm seeing. Okay, I've showered. I've got a window of about half an hour before I have to start making dinner. So I'm going to read and enjoy this book. See how much I can get through before dinner service begins. And I'm back on the water too. One beer is enough for me. Prep is done. I've got another sneaky half an hour to read. Ooh. What a day, let me tell you. But I did get some reading done in between the kids. It's really just them, isn't it? If I didn't have them, I could read all day. I've been saying that a lot lately. It's not a good mum thing to say. Anyway, I finished part 1 of The Shepherd's Hut. This is in the voice of Jaxie, and Jaxie's a kid, but he's must be late teens. And the way he talks is really rough. There's lots of slang, there's lots of curse words, yeah, there's not a lot of poetic language going on or big words. So it's all from his voice. And while that's fine, I don't know if I can read a whole book like this. So my hope is that I think he's found the shepherd's hut, and there's a man inside. And so my hope is with the introduction of another person, then maybe things will change up a bit and his language might calm down a bit. And yeah, I think I just need that break from just Jaxie talking, because it's all it's been. There's been no other characters. He's been walking solo by himself through the bush to get to Lee, I think it is, and we find out that Lee is his cousin, and there's some stuff going on there that's probably not naturally accepted, and it's quite confronting for me when I read it. Anyway, I hope I didn't give too much away. Just a spoiler, maybe. While Jaxie's been walking to Lee, we realise a few things. We realise that he's had a pretty shit life up to now. He's just so abusive. The things that he's seen and the things he's had to endure from his father are disgusting. And so he's reflecting on that. He's reflecting on his mum. His mum died of cancer, but he's reflecting on why she stayed, and you know, she stayed for him, and why she didn't take him and leave this man and all that sort of stuff. So there's that reflection, which is really interesting and really well written. I thought it really made me sad for him. Yeah, I really thought that was well done. We realise that this kid is really capable. He's got the survivalist stuff down pat. He can shoot animals and butcher them up. Well, his dad was a butcher. There you go. But he can handle being out in the bush by himself. So, yeah, and then we learn about where he's going. So part one's just been that setup of his background, and then why he's going to where he is going. And yeah, I'm hoping that part two brings just somebody else's point of view, somebody else's chat thrown in there with Jaxie. It's not bad at all. It's just really immature, really crude. Yeah, the way he talks is really immature and really crude. It's okay, and that's fine. He's setting the character very well. Tim Winton's writing of what Jaxie's walking through, the landscape, the salt lakes, and it's beautiful. I've never been to WA, which is where this is set in Western Australia, and I always dreamed to go there. So reading Tim Winton novels is about as close as I'm going to get for now anyway. I'm intrigued. I really, really want to know how this plays out. I really want to know what happens to Jaxie. I really want to know what happens when he actually interacts with old mate in this hut. I'm hoping that there's a saviour in the shepherd. Fingers crossed. Things don't always go as I hope them though. Right, I'm signing off tonight. It's the end of a Saturday. It's been a really, really big day. The kids are just going to sleep now, and I'm going to climb in with maybe some like Queer Eye or something really trashy and easy to watch and doze off to sleep. And I'll see you tomorrow for part two. Good night. It's 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. I'm in the granny flat. Right after I finished talking to you last night, my neck just started spasming, and it took me forever to get to sleep. And when I finally did get to sleep, one of the kids had a problem and I had to get up and help them. So I'm still awake now at 2 a.m. So I thought I'll just come into the granny flat and read, because I don't want to wake anybody up in the house. So yeah, I think I'm just going to snuggle down with this book and try and fall asleep in 2 pages. It's going to be a long day tomorrow, but we'll worry about that tomorrow. I'm going to read now. Just to keep you updated, he's interacting with the man in the hut now. So we have somebody else's voice in the book. Thank God. He just said dropped his Dax Is that an Australian thing? Does anybody know what that means? Anyway, I'm just finding all these little things that I'm thinking about it from like an international reader's point of view, or whether they're just completely be so confused by all of this Australian slang stuff. Anyway, that's probably a bit of an easy one, but anyway, him and the man, they're talking, they're interacting. Hooray! Hello again. We're on 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. I last spoke to you about 2, where my prediction was correct. I read 3 pages and fell asleep, which was nice. But this morning I've woken up with a slightly less sore neck, but I need my heat bag. Danny's taken the kids to the skate park. All 4 of them are out of the house. The house is all mine. So I'm going to read some more. Today my aim is to get part 2 of this done and dusted. I'd love to finish it. That would be great. The reason I'd love to finish it because I'm really enjoying it and I want to know what happens. Like I said, he's just interacting with old mate in the hut. This has got to be the shepherd, surely. Unless he becomes the shepherd. I don't know. We haven't been told who the shepherd is, but there's a hut in the middle of nowhere and he's inside of it now, eating food and having showers and interacting with old mate. I don't think I even know old mate's name yet. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to take this couple of hours. I'm not going to clean. I'm not going to hang out washing. I'm not going to do a thing. I'm going to lie here and while they're away, just completely indulge. It's the best way to start a Sunday. I'm probably going to fall asleep too, let's be honest. Right, so hi. I just finished part 2. And it's only like 11 o'clock and the kids aren't home and yes, mission accomplished. I had a little sleep there too. Didn't tell you that, did I? Anyway. Okay, so part 2 was great. So, spoiler, but I'm trying not to give away too much, but it's sort of the plot. Part 2 is about Jaxie sort of setting up with Fenton. I think that's his name. Fenton. He's an Irish priest. And he has been living in the shepherd's hut for 8 years. He's not a shepherd. And so part 2 has been about them setting up and them forming a relationship, and Jaxie's been there for a couple of months now, and the basis of him staying is so he can get his strength, because beyond the Salt Lake is the desert to get to Lee, where he eventually wants to go and run away with her. So, so part 2 is the setting up of that. They're having some interesting discussions and some interesting relationship stuff. So Jaxie is learning to trust that another man won't hurt him. He's not wanting him to get too close. He goes off at him a lot. He threatens violence a lot. And that's interesting to watch how he maneuvers that, because of course, you know, the older male figure in his life was so horrible to him. So yeah, that's interesting. The priest has some secrets of his own, and they've kind of agreed to not talk about their past and things like that because, yeah. So the priest is at the shepherd's hut because someone wants him there, and they've kind of moved him away from where he can confess things that he knows. So there's a mystery surrounding the priest. We don't know what that is. But through their conversations, we're learning about the distrust that the priest is forming for his faith and for his religion. And we're learning about how all that the priest has seen in the name of his religion is plaguing him. And he talks about a time when he saw a mass grave and things like that. We don't know the circumstances around that. He won't say, but yeah, it's all about, you know, those people died, you know, in the name of God or in the name of his religion, and he's not about that anymore. So he's doing a lot of questioning about his life's purpose and his faith. So that's interesting. It's still all from Jaxie's perspective, and this is kind of what I wanted to chat about too. You know how I was talking about the language, and by the end of book 1 I was kind of really done with Jaxie's really crude, rough. I wasn't done with it, but I kind of wanted more beauty in the dialect and in the narration. The beauty that I know Tim Winton can provide. So it was really getting really rough, and it got rougher towards the end of book one, and and then when he met Fenton and stayed in the heart, it's calmed down a lot, and I'm looking at that as kind of Jaxie's journey. So he starts off as a child controlled by somebody else, and then as he gets on that path where he's alone for a much longer time, the way he speaks and what he thinks becomes really rough and negative and crude. And then he gets in the presence of somebody else, and he tones that back a bit, and sort of the interaction between him and Fenton causes Jaxie to not be so rough in his observations, I guess. I don't know, but I'm kind of watching that flow as the evolution of Jaxie as well, the way that he's speaking. Yeah. So, yeah, the change in the tone of the narration is intriguing me. Also, what's about to go down is intriguing me. Fenton has somebody who comes to drop off supplies to him, and they're supposed to come every Easter and Christmas, and they missed Easter, but there's this suspicion in me that they'll be around soon, and the start of the book is about Jaxie taking off in a car, and there's no car inside at the moment, so I'm figuring something goes down, and I hope that Jaxie's safe and Fenton's safe. I hope that they save each other in a way. Anyway, the positivity in me, hey? Right, I'm going to put this down and actually do some mum work. I'm cooking a pork roast for lunch, so I'm going to get that on and, get some jobs done. And then maybe I've only got, let's look. I'm at 195 now, and this only goes to 266, so I don't have long to go. So I'm going to try and finish this today. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm really enjoying it a lot. So I think the ending is going to seal the deal for me. Okay, I'm going to start doing mum job. I won't put you through the rigours of my mum day like I did yesterday. I'll talk to you when I pick the book up again.
Okay, I'm back. We had a roast lunch. We've got some leftover guacamole. I forgot to make a salad. Anyway. And now I have some time, so let's see if I can finish this sucker off this afternoon.
Towards the end now, I've only got 30 pages to go, but this was really cool. Winton and Jaxie were talking and starting to get a little bit more honest with each other, and Winton said that he didn't believe in God, and Jaxie was cranky with him about that because he's a priest. But Winton was trying to clear it up, and he says that he suspects that God is what you do, not what or who you believe in. And then he goes on to say, but when you do right, Jaxie, when you make good, well, then you are an instrument of God. Then you were joined to the divine, to the life force, to life itself. That's what I believe. That's what I hope for, and that's what I have missed. I love that. It's making me think. Okay, I finished. I think at the end of part 2 I said that the ending would seal the deal for me. And unfortunately, I don't like the ending at all. And I'm trying to work out why it was needed. Sorry if you can hear the kids in the background, they're really noisy. So 2 other people were brought into the plot, and those people were completely unrelated. The reasons they were brought in were completely unrelated. And I'm trying to work out why that was necessary. As a naive person, I would have liked for Jaxie to have found the peace he needed and to have saved Fenton in another way rather than having to work with these other 2 people that were on the scene. I don't know. I was a bit bummed about the ending, but
It was a good book. It was a good read. When I finished it, I hopped off and I read some reviews online, and lots of people talked about the Aussie vernacular and about the ending, reasons they gave as to why they didn't like it. Reasons people did like it was because of the sense of place that Tim Winton was able to evoke, and his writing is always that way. You are there, like you're in. Quiet, please. What was I saying? Yeah. So Tim Winton's writing's great. You're in the Salt Lakes of Western Australia completely. One thing that one reviewer brought up was about the violence against animals, and it is. They are surviving in the desert, so they're killing animals for food, but there are a couple of cases where they kill more than they need to, and they're also the detail of how they're killed and what they do to butcher them up and what they use the meat for and all that sort of stuff. It's quite detailed, so I can see for that might disturb some people as well. I mean, this is a 4-star book for me, and I would have given it 5 stars, I think, if it hadn't been for the ending and also for Jaxie's language. I mean, I understand it. I'm not around that all the time. I'm not in some rough country town in the front bar of a pub. But I understand, and I don't kind of, I've heard it often enough to not be offended by it or anything like that. But it was a lot for me. And I wonder why he was choosing to use that for Jaxie, whether that was to show his immaturity or to show how angry he was, which is totally understandable because he had a shit life. I mean, Jaxie's mission is to find peace, and so whether showing that anger in him alerts us to the fact that when he finds peace it will be real, I don't know. I really liked it. I didn't like it as much as Breath, no way. But yeah, it's still 4 stars for me. So yeah, that's kind of it. Thanks for coming along and reading this with me, for being my buddy. If you pick it up or have already picked it up, please let me know. And you loved it or hated it, I love all of the discussion around it. So yeah, that's it for this vlog. I will see you when I pick up my next book. Bye.